Many architects feel overwhelmed, constantly reacting to project demands and losing sight of their own goals. In this video, you'll discover a game-changing approach from Richard Petrie. He explains why building your business around your personal goals, rather than letting projects control your life, can lead to transformative results in both your business and personal life. Get ready to shift your mindset and take control.
One little thing about marketing, sales, maybe half. I did a survey on the last training that we ran last week and said, who likes selling? Probably the answer was about 50% of you actually said, yeah, I quite like it. I don't mind it at all. And 50% said, no. The reality is, well, whether you like it or not, you got to get good at it. Okay, because it is obviously a core thing to what you're going to need to do. Your number one job, if you're running an architecture firm or your own architecture firm, your number one job is winning projects, and your number two job is doing design, right? Doing design follows doing marketing. So we'll talk about how to win the very best projects that we can help you run. This stuff I'm teaching you today is really about doing the easiest, fastest, and safest thing that you can do that I've worked out through working with architects for a good period of time today. Today, you'll be in this, like I say, you'll be in the stand. There's white belts, there's black belts, but at the moment you're kind of in the stand watching this stuff. It'll be about 8 or 9 high-level strategies. We're not going to cover tactics, but more strategic focus. Okay, so these are the 9 here. These are the 9 things. You'll probably only need 8 of them. And I'll run through the one you won't probably need later on when we get to it, okay? So the first one is focus. And this is kind of interesting. When I work with architects, you guys know, the hardest thing to do is actually follow through and implement something, even if you know it's really important. So there's a bit of an exercise we go through to kind of put marketing into perspective. And it's kind of why I said some of that stuff earlier around, you're only as good as the projects you can win, or your enjoyment in architecture is only that good. That's kind of where marketing fits. It's really, really important. Okay, now we need to focus and we need to have a bit of a plan. So we've got some intention about where we're going. Excuse me. Now, when I sit down with an architect and ask them what do they want, only about 1 in 15 can tell me what they want and have any sort of a plan, right? When I say what they want, they've got a written plan and they've got a bit of an idea how they're going to get there. Hardly anyone does. Most of you are so busy doing the work that you haven't got time to design anything for yourself. It's just a case of keeping up with work, right? That's got to change. Because if you don't, you end up a bit like your New Year's resolutions. Nothing ever follows through. You lack a bit of a focus. You end up being a servant to everybody else's project, right? And that's the truth. You end up a servant to everyone else's project. So here's how I want you to look at, particularly focus. There's an exercise that I like to do, and it's asking people out of 100, where are you for X? Where are you for Y? Where are you? And so there's a scale. So you can kind of assess yourself on the scale. Now, we're going to do it for your life. We'll do it. I'll show you what I do anyway. But I want you just to imagine a time in your life where you were 100 out of 100 for something. So it's kind of like 100 light bulbs going off in your head going, yes, yes, yes. Right? Now, some examples. I'll just drop that one to the bottom. But maybe there was a special man or woman who you had huge desires for. You were 100 out of 100 for them. Or a bit like me, I guess at one point, starting my business was something I just felt I had to do. There was no option. I was 100 out of 100. So if you can type in the chat window, what's something you were 100 out of 100? Maybe it's a car for you. A time in your life when you're 100 out of 100. Now, for me, car, well, I looked at, a Porsche 911 because they kind of look cool. And then I sat in one and drove it. And it's like your backside's scraping along the road and you're so low. And after having driven it, I was really only 30 out of 100. I like the look of it, but, then there was the Porsche Cayenne, which is 4-wheel drive. I haven't bought any of these, but it kind of looks cool. I'm not really a car guy. It made me feel 70 out of 100. So I've never bought one. But because 70 out of 100 is not 100 out of 100, right? So what I find is that people, when you're not 100 about something, there's always something like an obstacle at 80 or 70 or 90, which will stop you. So it really pays to, one, know what 100 feels like, and two, be able to pick something which is 100 out of 100. So Matt says owning his own house. Maria, when I got my job in Dubai and designed whatever I wanted. David, right throughout architecture school, 100 out of 100. Matt says hiking at AT, whatever that is, AT. Andrea, family. Michael, family. Build my own house. Dennis, building my design apartment project. Is it Ningham? My tech gadgets, 100 out of 100. I've just got to have that new tech gadget. Got to have it. Right. You guys know what it feels like to be 100 out of 100. It's a different feeling, and it's what's required, I believe, for you to be successful. Right. So what do we need to be 100 out of 100 for? Okay. Now, this might surprise you, because I believe you need to be 100 out of 100. I'm a marketing coach, right? You'd think, he teaches marketing. Yeah. But in order for you to be successful at marketing, you've got to work out what you want out of your life. All right. So here's a bit of a summary of how I like to look at it. And it's what you'll notice here is I had a lot of people come to, I do one-on-ones with my mastermind group. That's the only group I do. We have a 6 program, and then we have a mastermind group. I have one-on-ones with those guys, and I was finding a lot of them were coming to me saying, I don't know where I want to take my business. I've been successful, but, I don't know what I want for the next 90 days. I don't know what I want for the next year. And what we discovered was the reason they had issue coming up with their business goals is because they didn't know what they really wanted for their life. That was a bit of a mystery. And how can you design your business if you don't know what you want for your life? Because for a lot of you, your business is the number one priority for you. Your life actually becomes subservient to your business. You take your holidays when it suits your business. You do everything. Family time fits around your business. Business is always number one, and this doesn't really work, right? And so what I like to get people to do is come up with what's a bucket list. How do we design our life? I don't know. Well, we can have a bucket list for great things that we want to do. And so we do that. And then we have a list for how do you want to live, right? So here's an example of, an exercise that you might want to do. And there's a book by a guy called Trav Bell on bucket lists. But that's not enough, right? Things you want to do is not really enough. And we actually got this book, and I took the mastermind group through it, and we all went through it in Barcelona at a conference recently. But it's not enough. It's good, and that is something that should be in there. You also need, what sort of lifestyle do you want to live? How do you want to live your life? Because let's face it, in 50 years' time, most of us are probably going to be dead, right? So, and maybe for the last 10 or 20 years, we're not going to be overly energetic. So if you take that off your life right now, you might go, well, actually, I don't have that much time. So how do you want to live? Right? Forget the business for a minute. How do you want to live? Now, once you're clear on, let's say, things I want to do, my bucket list, and how I want to live, then you come up with something like, what does my business need to be operating? How do I need to, what sort of business do I need to be able to deliver me that sort of lifestyle? All right. This is the order that makes sense. All right. Otherwise, you are constantly playing the servant or the pleaser to your clients and making everybody else rich while you're getting your crummy fees. right? And I've noticed it doesn't work. It works to a degree, you can survive on it, but if you're going to thrive, you kind of need to do it the other way around. And then you develop your 90-day plans. Now, when you do it this way, what you do is you align your priorities, and the most important priority is your life and probably your family, right? They come first, and then the business gets designed, reverse engineered back from that.